What happens when a 16-year-old girl stands alone in a courtroom full of doubters, faces a mocking judge, and turns the tables to expose the truth no one expected? Meet Lily Thompson, an ordinary high school junior whose life takes a dramatic turn when she finds herself standing alone in court, defending not only her innocence but her belief in justice. Mocked by a dismissive judge and surrounded by doubters, Lily doesn't flinch. Instead, she stuns the courtroom and the entire town by proving her case and exposing corruption at the highest levels. This is the incredible story of a teenager who refused to back down, even when the odds were stacked against her. With no legal training and nothing but sheer determination, Lily became her own defense attorney, outmaneuvering seasoned professionals and uncovering the truth that no one wanted to see. But her journey was far from easy. Facing relentless opposition, shocking betrayals, and even anonymous threats, Lily's courage and resilience were put to the ultimate test. Her story is more than a tale of triumph, it's a powerful reminder of what one determined individual can achieve when they stand up for what's right. In today's video, we'll follow Lily's inspiring journey from an ordinary teenager to an extraordinary courtroom sensation. This is a story of resilience, justice, and courage that will leave you speechless and inspired. Stay tuned as we dive into this jaw-dropping tale of determination and truth. Lily Thompson was an ordinary high school junior from the quiet town of Maplewood. Known for her love of science and her weekends spent volunteering at the local animal shelter, Lily's life was as unremarkable as it was comfortable. She had big dreams of attending college and making a difference in the world. But she never imagined that her fight for justice would start so early or so close to home. One frosty morning, everything changed. Lily's father was driving her to school when a police car pulled them over for what seemed like a minor issue, a broken taillight. But the routine stop quickly escalated. Within minutes, her dad was handcuffed and arrested over unpaid parking tickets. Lily was left standing on the side of the road, stunned as her father was taken away. The situation only worsened during the preliminary hearing, where the court fined her dad an amount he couldn't possibly afford. When he failed to pay, he was sentenced to 30 days in jail. Watching her father, a hard-working man who had always played by the rules, be treated so unfairly ignited something inside Lily. For the first time, she saw how easily the justice system could fail people who didn't have the resources to fight back. The experience shook her deeply, but it also sparked a fire. Lily couldn't just sit back and accept what had happened. She wanted to believe in a fair system, one where everyone got a chance to be heard. But now she realized that fairness wasn't guaranteed, it had to be fought for. That realization would become the driving force behind Lily's determination to take on the courtroom when her own nightmare began. One chilly evening, Lily Thompson was walking home from the library when her life took an unimaginable turn. Up ahead, she noticed two older boys from school engaged in a heated argument. Their voices grew louder as she approached, and before she could react, one boy shoved the other, who stumbled and hit his head on a mailbox. Lily froze, unsure of what to do. But before she could even think, someone shouted, "Hey! Stop her!" She did it. To her horror, the boy who had fallen pointed directly at her, claiming she was the one who pushed him. Other students nearby, whom Lily had never seen before, chimed in, backing up his false accusation. Minutes later, the police arrived. Lily tried to explain that she had nothing to do with the altercation, but her words fell on deaf ears. She was arrested on the spot, handcuffed, and taken to the station, a terrifying experience for a 16-year-old who had never been in trouble before. At home, things weren't any easier. Lily's mom, already struggling after her husband's arrest, couldn't afford a private lawyer. The court assigned a public defender to Lily's case, but he barely glanced at the evidence. "Just take the plea deal," he advised dismissively. "It's easier this way." But Lily couldn't accept that. How could she plead guilty to something she didn't do? Refusing to let the system crush her spirit, she pleaded with her public defender to fight for her, but his dismissive response made one thing painfully clear: she was completely on her own. That's when Lily made a decision that shocked everyone around her. She decided to represent herself. Her mom was terrified. "You're just a kid, Lily," she pleaded. "You can't go up against a whole courtroom by yourself." But Lily was determined. "If I don't fight, I've already lost," she replied. With no legal experience, no resources, and the weight of the system pressing down on her, Lily stepped into uncharted territory. She began spending every free moment in the public library, poring over thick law books and printing pages of legal precedents. It was a daunting task, but Lily's determination only grew stronger with each passing day. Everyone, from her classmates to the court staff, thought she was crazy. They mocked her for daring to believe she could win. But Lily wasn't looking for approval, she was looking for justice. And she wouldn't stop until she found it. From the moment Lily Thompson walked into the courtroom, the odds were stacked against her. The prosecutor was a seasoned attorney. The opposing witnesses seemed confident. And the judge, Judge Harris, made it clear he didn't take her seriously. "You think you can defend yourself in this court?" Judge Harris sneered during the pre-trial hearing. "This isn't a school debate. Miss Thompson, go back to class and leave the law to the professionals." The gallery chuckled, the sound a mix of amusement and skepticism. But Lily didn't flinch. She stood her ground, replying with calm confidence. "Your Honor, the Constitution doesn't require me to have a law degree to defend myself. It only requires that I be given a fair trial. That's all I'm asking for." Judge Harris rolled his eyes but allowed the case to proceed. Lily knew she had an uphill battle. Every free moment was spent at the public library, where the elderly librarian, Mrs. Jenkins, noticed her struggles. "You've been here every night," Mrs. Jenkins said one evening, setting a steaming cup of cocoa on the table. "What are you working on, dear?" At first, Lily hesitated, unsure if she could trust anyone. But something about Mrs. Jenkins' gentle demeanor made her feel safe. She explained her situation, expecting disbelief or pity. But instead, Mrs. Jenkins nodded thoughtfully. "That's a tall order," Mrs. Jenkins said. "But if anyone can do it, I think you can. Let me show you some resources that might help." With Mrs. Jenkins' guidance, Lily learned how to navigate legal databases, research case law, and organize her arguments. The librarian's support became a lifeline, giving Lily not just tools but hope. When the trial began, the courtroom was tense. Judge Harris continued to mock Lily, interrupting her statements, rolling his eyes during her cross-examinations, and even laughing outright when she cited legal precedents. But Lily refused to back down. With every sneer and condescending remark, she grew more determined. Her first major breakthrough came during the cross-examination of a key witness. One of the boys who accused her stood confidently in the witness box, repeating the same story he'd told the police. "Miss Thompson shoved me," he said firmly. Lily took a deep breath, her voice steady as she began her cross-examination. "You claim I shoved you near the mailbox, correct?" "That's right," the boy replied. "And where were you standing when this happened?" she asked, walking to the evidence table and holding up a diagram of the scene. "In front of the mailbox," he said. Lily paused, letting the silence hang in the air. Then she held up a printed still from a traffic camera near the scene. The image clearly showed her standing several feet away from the boys at the time of the incident. "If you were standing in front of the mailbox, how could I have shoved you from over here?" she asked, pointing to her position in the photo. The boy stammered, unable to provide a clear answer. The courtroom erupted into murmurs, and even Judge Harris seemed momentarily caught off guard. Then came the breakthrough. Lily had been waiting for the traffic camera footage. It shattered the prosecution's narrative, showing the truth for all to see: two boys arguing, one shoving the other, while Lily stood far away, paralyzed in disbelief. It was undeniable evidence that she hadn't been involved in the altercation. When Lily presented the footage, the courtroom was silent. The prosecutor attempted to discredit it, claiming it was inconclusive, but Lily remained calm. "Your Honor," she said, her voice firm, "this footage disproves the prosecution's entire narrative. It's not speculation, it's fact. I wasn't anywhere near them when the incident occurred." Judge Harris leaned forward, his expression unreadable. "Proceed," he said curtly. Lily's confidence grew as she systematically dismantled the prosecution's case. She pointed out inconsistencies in witness testimonies, highlighted gaps in the prosecution's timeline, and cited case law that supported her right to a fair trial. The turning point came when Lily subpoenaed the traffic camera footage. As the video played, the courtroom fell silent, and her accusers exchanged panicked glances, knowing their lies had been exposed. When the prosecutor objected, claiming Lily's arguments were theatrics, she shot back with a calm but firm retort: "Theatrics don't prove innocence, but facts do." By the end of the trial, even Judge Harris seemed to change his tone. His initial mockery gave way to grudging respect as Lily's preparation, determination, and eloquence turned the tide. "Miss Thompson," he said during her closing argument, "this court commends your efforts. Few would have the courage to do what you've done here." Though his words were measured, they carried weight. Lily had faced a dismissive judge, manipulative witnesses, and a skeptical courtroom, and she had held her own. What began as an unwinnable battle had become a testament to her resilience, proving that even the most underestimated person could stand up for what's right. As the trial unfolded, Lily Thompson began to realize that the case against her wasn't just flawed, it was built on corruption. The deeper she dug, the more cracks she found in the prosecution's tactics. What had seemed like a simple misunderstanding turned out to be a deliberate attempt to frame her, orchestrated by Mr. Blake, the prosecutor, and Greg Weston, a private investigator known for using underhanded methods. Mr. Blake's strategy relied heavily on fabricated evidence and coerced testimony. Early in the trial, it became clear that the witnesses who accused Lily of pushing the boy had been coached. Their stories, though initially confident, began to fall apart under Lily's cross-examination. One key witness, Kyle, claimed he saw Lily shove the victim. But when Lily questioned him about the inconsistencies in his story, his responses grew shaky. "I guess I didn't see everything," he admitted at one point, casting doubt on his credibility. Then came Emily Brooks, a quiet classmate who had unexpectedly testified against Lily. Emily claimed she had overheard Lily threatening the victim a week before the incident. Her testimony was damning until Lily noticed something unusual. Emily seemed nervous, avoiding eye contact and fidgeting throughout her time on the stand. After days of relentless questioning and sleepless nights, Lily's breakthrough came in the form of an unlikely ally, Emily. Late one evening, as Lily was leaving the library, Emily approached her with a small notebook clutched in her hands. "I need to tell you something," Emily said, her voice trembling. She handed Lily the notebook, explaining, "This is my journal. It has everything, the truth about what Mr. Blake and Greg Weston made me do." Lily opened the journal to find detailed entries outlining how Emily had been pressured to lie on the stand. Mr. Blake had promised to take care of her if she testified against Lily and had threatened to make things difficult for her family if she refused. Emily's guilt over her actions had finally pushed her to come forward. The journal was a gold mine. It revealed not only the coercion Emily faced but also hinted at a larger pattern of unethical behavior by Mr. Blake and Weston. With Emily's journal in hand, Lily returned to court the next day with renewed determination. She called Kyle back to the stand, armed with evidence that could unravel his testimony. "Kyle," she began, her voice calm but firm, "you testified that I pushed the victim. But is it true that someone told you what to say?" Kyle hesitated, his eyes darting toward Mr. Blake. "I just wanted to help," he mumbled. "Help who?" Lily pressed, her tone sharper. "The prosecution?" Kyle's silence spoke volumes. When the judge demanded he answer, Kyle finally admitted, "Mr. Blake told me what to say. He said if I didn't, I might get in trouble too." The courtroom erupted into murmurs. Mr. Blake stood, objecting loudly. But the damage was done. The confession, paired with Emily's journal, painted a damning picture of a prosecutor willing to bend the rules to secure a conviction. The revelations about witness tampering and coercion sent shockwaves through the courtroom. Emily's journal and Kyle's confession forced Judge Harris to re-evaluate the integrity of the entire trial. "Mr. Blake," the judge said sternly, "these are serious allegations. This court cannot and will not tolerate any form of misconduct. The credibility of this case has been severely compromised." The gallery was silent, the weight of the judge's words sinking in. For the first time, Lily felt like the tide had turned. The prosecution's once airtight case was crumbling under the weight of its own deceit. What started as a fight to prove her innocence became something much larger. Lily's relentless pursuit of the truth exposed not just the lies in her case but a broader pattern of corruption within the system. Greg Weston, the private investigator, had been a key player in manipulating witnesses. His involvement tied back to other cases handled by Mr. Blake, raising questions about how many innocent people might have been wrongly convicted. Lily's courage and determination didn't just clear her name, they shone a light on the rot within the justice system, sparking a call for accountability that extended far beyond her small town. After weeks of grueling testimony, shocking revelations, and a relentless pursuit of the truth. The day of the verdict finally arrived. The courtroom was packed. The tension so thick it felt like the air had been sucked from the room. Lily Thompson sat at the defense table, her heart pounding as the jury filed in. "All rise," the bailiff announced as Judge Harris entered the room. Once everyone was seated, the judge addressed the jury. "Have you reached a unanimous verdict?" The foreperson stood, holding a folded piece of paper. "We have, Your Honor." Lily held her breath as the judge unfolded the paper and read its contents. The room seemed to freeze in that moment, every eye fixed on the bench. In the case of the People versus Lily Thompson, Judge Harris declared, "The jury finds the defendant not guilty." The words hit Lily like a tidal wave. Her mom burst into tears beside her, clutching her tightly as the courtroom erupted into cheers and applause. Lily's relief was overwhelming. Her innocence had been vindicated. The trial didn't just clear Lily's name, it captured the nation's attention. News outlets quickly picked up on the story of the teenage girl who had outsmarted a courtroom, exposing corruption along the way. Across the country, Lily became a symbol of resilience and justice. Social media buzzed with hashtags like #JusticeForLily and #TruthPrevails. People from all walks of life praised her courage in standing up to a system that seemed impossible to beat. Support poured in, from letters of encouragement to offers of scholarships and internships. Lily's story inspired countless others to believe in their own ability to fight for what was right, no matter the odds. The fallout from the trial was swift and far-reaching. Mr. Blake, the once confident prosecutor, was disbarred after an ethics review revealed his pattern of witness tampering and misconduct. Greg Weston, the private investigator, was arrested and charged with multiple counts of intimidation and obstruction of justice. The district attorney's office launched a comprehensive internal investigation, uncovering a web of unethical practices that had tainted numerous cases. Public trust in the legal system had been shaken. But Lily's courage sparked a call for reform. As she stepped out of the courthouse for the last time, Lily was greeted by a sea of reporters. Cameras flashed, microphones were thrust toward her, and questions poured in. How does it feel to win? What's next for you? What advice would you give to others? Lily smiled, her voice calm and steady as she replied, "This isn't just about me. It's about showing that one person can make a difference, no matter how small they feel. Justice is worth fighting for." With her name cleared and her head held high, Lily walked into a brighter future, knowing she had not only changed her own life but sparked a movement for justice that would ripple far beyond her small town. As Lily Thompson reflected on her journey, one truth stood out: courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the determination to act in spite of it. Against all odds, Lily had faced a powerful system, relentless opposition, and countless attempts to silence her. Yet, she never wavered in her commitment to uncovering the truth. Even when the odds are stacked against you, Lily said in an interview after the trial, the truth matters. It's not always easy to stand up for what's right, but it's always worth it. Her journey wasn't just about clearing her name, it was about proving that one person, armed with determination and integrity, can make a difference. Lily's story is a testament to the power of resilience and the importance of holding those in power accountable. But her fight also serves as a call to action. Injustice isn't something that happens in isolation, it thrives in silence and complacency. Lily's courage reminds us that change begins when we refuse to accept the status quo. To anyone watching this video, Lily's story is an invitation to look around and ask, where can I make a difference? Where can I stand up for what's right? Even if it's hard? Whether it's speaking out against corruption, helping someone in need, or standing firm in your own truth, every action matters. Lily's journey may have started with an accusation, but it ended with a victory, not just for herself, but for justice. Her story proves that no matter who you are or where you come from, you have the power to create change. Let Lily's story remind you, no matter how small or powerless you may feel, standing up for what's right can create change. The fight for justice isn't just Lily's, it belongs to all of us. And it starts with you.